And we are live. A very, very warm welcome. Today, we are talking to two of the founders in our community, Kuku and Joy, who both have businesses in the fashion industry. And I'm really excited to be talking to them and getting under the skin of their businesses a little more so that you can have an insight into the incredible successes that both of these leaders achieved in their businesses and along their journeys. So, Kuku and Joy, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
And good afternoon to the audience and good afternoon, ladies.
Yeah, for whoever's joining us today, just to kind of a heads up, this will be recorded, so you'll be able to access the full event toward the end on LinkedIn, but it'll also be downloaded and uploaded onto the Women's Chapter website. So without further ado, I would like to give each of you an opportunity in your own words to introduce your businesses and tell us a little bit more about what you do. Kuku, can I start with you, please?
Yes, of course. So hello, everyone. My name is Kuku Nukajam, and I'm the founder/owner of Rain Studio. And Rain Studio is a swimwear and essentials brand for fuller bust women, a UK bra size 28F to 40 kk.
Amazing. Thank you very much for joining us, Kuku. And it's been a while since we've seen each other, because I think you were off growing your family.
Yes, it's been a little while. Yeah, I've been juggling
Joy, can
a few
I hand over
different
to you
things.
Good afternoon again. My name is Joy Odunsi-Aboderin. I am the owner of a styling image consultancy called Potential You. My goal with my business is really helping women achieve confidence and style with their wardrobe. So I offer styling solutions such as color analysis, body shape analysis, personal shopping, wardrobe consultations. But ultimately, it's about helping women feel confident in her skin unapologetically.
I love that. I love that we are getting women to embrace the idea that we should feel comfortable in our skin and we should feel amazing in our clothes. I think so many of us look through our wardrobes and just kind of I don't know, feel like despondent and go, oh, I hate all my clothes and I hate the way they feel.
Yeah, women are hard on themselves, too hard on themselves.
Absolutely. And I think also this idea that we should embrace our body shapes and the way that we are now and feel good for now, instead of having this idea that, oh, when I'm a size 10 or when I'm a size 8, I feel better or I feel more confident.
Yeah.
If anything, the last 2 years or more have taught us is that we need to embrace the now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My next question is about kind of how your respective business concepts came about, because I think with so many of the women in our community, and for entrepreneurs in general, we start businesses to solve needs or problems that we identify. And I'd love to hear, because I know both of you have stories around this. Kuku, can I start with you? How did Rain Studio come about?
Of course. So we actually really identify with the ethos of Joy's business really strongly. So as a fuller bust woman myself, I always kind of struggled with that whole self-acceptance piece, especially when it came to shopping. I always just had such dread when it came to, shopping for anything. Even up till now, it's my 30th birthday in about 2 weeks, and I've been looking for an outfit for ages. And I just have that lens of, oh, I can't wear that because it's too busty or this, that, and the other. But for me and Rain Studio, it started out of that need looking for swimwear. I was going on my honeymoon and I was looking for a bikini that I could just wow my husband with on our honeymoon. And I really struggled to find something that was both fashionable and functional. And I did do a big shop. And I kind of left it last minute, as in the day before I traveled, to try everything on. And it didn't quite fit as I wanted. So I spent most of my honeymoon, adjusting myself, trying to pull everything up so that I'd feel comfortable. And I just remember thinking, I don't want any woman, you know, to ever feel that way. And that's how I came up with the idea of Rain Studio. I just thought that I would start my own swimwear brand for fuller bust women that didn't have any underwire, that was fashionable and functional, to kind of solve my own selfish need. But it's worked out for me in the end, because every time I sell, I always get such lovely feedback from women saying that this is exactly what they've been looking for, and they're so glad that I'm, you know, doing what we're doing. So yeah, that's kind of it in a nutshell for me.
Amazing.
I'd like to second that as well.
That you Yeah, go ahead, Joy.
Yeah, I'd like to second that. I recommended, I've got clients of different body shapes, different sizes. So I recommended some of Rain's pieces to my client, and she absolutely loved it. She even said her teenage daughter complimented her about the swimwear, the quality. And I think what I liked about it was the vibrant color, because often they think that when women are fuller, they should be hidden away, wearing really dark colors, miserable prints. And my client loved the quality. So yeah, really, really great pieces. Well done, Kuku.
Thank you so much. And thanks for recommending us. That always means the world.
You're welcome.
No, well, I think it goes to your point, Kuku, about what you were saying when, you know, that it was based on your need, which was definitely not selfish, because we all have a right to feel comfortable and confident. And Joy, you know, that's what your whole business is built around. But, you know, clearly, if you had that need, there were, you know, endless numbers of women that had the same need. To be able to go, and I have many friends who are fuller busted, and I always recommend Rain to them as well. But I think there are very limited choices out there for them, and to be able to give women more options where they can embrace color and print and have a bit of fun with their swimwear. And I know that you've since evolved into underwear and loungewear as well. Is really a great gift. So congratulations on everything that you have achieved.
Thank you so much.
Joy, can I hand over to you to tell us a bit about how Potential You came about?
Well, my journey is a bit more complicated. I actually was an accountant, so I went from finance to fashion. I come from a Nigerian family, heritage-wise, and they're quite academic. We had the first Chief Justice of Law from my family, so everybody was like really professional. So I remember about 5 years old, my dad throwing me up saying, okay, you'll be the accountant because you're good at maths. So I became the accountant. I was an accountant for 13 years, straight from university, rose up to the top of the ladder, but I found it not fulfilling. Long hours, just not fulfilling as a business for me. And so I started styling friends for weddings. I'd style my PA, and I saw how it made women feel really confident. And I absolutely loved it. And my mum was always confident. She always presented herself well. And I just saw the correlation between how you dress and how it makes you feel. So then I did a course at the London College of Fashion, and I thought, oh, I came top of the class. It was theory, it was practical. And I thought, you know what, I really love this. And I love the whole idea of helping women feel confident, because I've always kind of worked with women. And so then I quit my job. They didn't want me to leave, sold my house, and started my business. It'll be 15 years in February 2023. So that's how I started. But it's really about, yeah, that's how I started.
That's a really remarkable journey. And I wonder, because listening to your story, I can identify with a lot of that, because I also was kind of earmarked for a certain profession in my family, and I was the first person to go to university. But when you decided to leave your accounting role, like, did everybody think you were mad?
Most definitely. I had my own private office on the 13th floor. And as I packed up my box, I thought, Joy, have you lost your mind? Because that was all I ever did. Even when I was at university, I had a job at Apple part-time in accounts. So it was a very kind of natural progression. So people did think I was mad, but I just feel like, as a person, you're born on this earth. God has birthed you. You're born in this earth, and you have to fulfill your purpose. You can't live for other people. So the way I see it, I was doing accountancy for my dad and for my family, but actually styling is what I wanted to do. And as an adult, I decided to follow my dreams. But it was definitely, people definitely thought I was mad. My mum, my dad, yeah, they thought I'd lost the plot.
one of the things you mentioned that you did, and I just wanted to kind of ask you to talk a little bit more about that. Did you have any fear of taking that plunge? I mean, I know you had to sell your house, and from a financial
definitely. I'm not good. Fear isn't. I definitely had fear, and I think just because you have fear doesn't mean you shouldn't do something. I think that you shouldn't let it overwhelm you so that it cripples you. But fear is part of life. And also, I think fear keeps you on your toes. So I've done like all the courses available. I've made sure that I've kind of done what I needed to do. But yeah, fear is part of the business journey. It gets easier with years and with time. You understand the patterns, you understand how things work a lot more, but you always have a bit of fear. But you have, if you're living your life purposefully, there will be a bit of fear there. But just get on with it and just do it. Don't let fear stop you. Yeah. So fear is always, it's always there. It's like it's a little thing on the shoulder, but it doesn't cripple you. It doesn't cripple me.
I was just having an Instagram live with one of our other members, Natalie Montagnani, before this, and she was saying something that everybody should have up on their pin board in their office, or a reminder somewhere, is that we need to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable, particularly when you're running a business.
Definitely.
The more you do that, you push your boundaries and you feel the fear, as you kind of thing, that we get better at it, we get more resilient, we normalize it, I guess. We normalize doing hard things.
There's no real growth inside your company. There's no real growth inside your comfort zone. And I think for me, that's what COVID has taught me. Like, we all had how things were going to work, and COVID just came and tossed everything upside down. So yeah, there's no growth really in your comfort zone. It might be painful, but it's good for you.
A brilliant insight. And we're going to talk about COVID and how it has shaped the growth of your businesses shortly. But Kuku, I just wanted to ask you, you also had a previous career before you launched Rain. Can you tell us a little bit about that and possibly how it's paid into the success of your business now?
Yeah, of course. So my career background is in PR and digital marketing. So prior to doing Rain Studio for full time, I was working for a digital marketing agency in client services across. I've worked on so many different types of brands, from food and drink to fashion to tire brands, to charities, all sorts. And as I said, account management, so managing different digital marketing campaigns, from social media to paid ads, to PR, your press coverage. So I mean, for me, I'm a firm believer in that everything happens for a reason. And for me, I actually got made redundant, and that's when I decided to take the plunge and do Rain full time, because it was something that was on my heart to do. But as Joy's been speaking about, fear just crippled me. Fear held me. Like, I just felt like I really wanted to do this, but I just don't know how I'm going to. So when I got made redundant, it was almost like a sigh of relief, because I was like, I just don't know if I can do this anymore. I did not feel fulfilled. Kind of felt like there was a bit of a glass ceiling over me. When you work so hard and you just feel like you can't get much further than you currently are, and you're like, what more can I do? Like, sell my soul to the devil? Like, I literally don't know. So at that point, I was happy. I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna put all my eggs in this basket, and it's paid off for me. Of course, there are times when you're anxious and you're thinking like, oh my God, like, am I really doing this? And the answer is yes, you are, and you just dig a little bit deeper and you push forward in purpose and in faith. And for me, having a background in PR and digital marketing has been a huge blessing for me, because people pay hundreds of thousands of pounds to agencies, and I know, because I used to help write those contracts and put together the pricing for campaigns. I know how much these things cost, and being privy to it, having experienced both the account management side and actually practically implementing campaigns has just meant that I've been able to do that for my business. I've been able to run paid ad campaigns. I've been able to, you know, put together photo shoots, all sorts, whatever you think. I've done it for my business, and it saved me money because I would have had to either pay a freelancer or pay for a course to teach myself how to do it. So none of it's in vain. And I always remind myself that, you know, when I feel like I'm not quite where I want to be, I just remember where I've come from. And I remember how every single experience that I've had to date has helped me get to where I am now, and how this current experience that I'm going through will help me get to that next destination.
I totally agree. And that's such an amazing kind of summary of your journey and explaining how all of the experiences we have, and I think many of us can identify with this, that everything we learn along the way, and I'm a believer too in everything happening for a reason, that we learn these things and we go through challenges, but that it gives us skills that we need for a you know, a different situation, and it helps to build our resilience.
Absolutely.
Speaking of challenges, obviously the last few years have been unprecedented in terms of the challenges that we've all faced in running our businesses. And I know that for both of you, it's resulted in some advantages or some positives that have come out of that, because with so many other things, out of crisis comes great opportunity. Joy, can you tell us a bit about how COVID has shaped the growth of your business and some of the opportunities that have come out of that for you?
Brilliant. So obviously COVID landed on our shoulders without much invitation. Prior to COVID starting, my husband had always been saying, offer online services, but I'm a sucker when it comes to customer service. I think there's nothing like in person, so I never did it, ever. But as my mentor used to say, he says, when you're in a crisis, you either crumble or you get creative. So I got creative, and then I started offering online services. So I did 3-star masterclasses during lockdown, which were well attended. Everyone had to bring their favorite drink. There was networking, talked about colors, did one on body shape, and did one on the trends and how to get your wardrobe ready for COVID, working from home. And it was so nice. And we had music, we had dancing, it was brilliant. So I did that. And then I started offering online solutions. So I did online shopping. Normally I would shop with clients in person. So I did online, where I'd send them links and images, put looks together. Most of the looks were working from home, loungewear, loads of tops, because that's what you see that people are wearing when they're doing like virtuals. No bottoms apart from joggers. And then I also did virtual wardrobe consultations as well. So I zoomed into lots of wardrobes like this online all over the world. So before COVID, I would travel, but now I zoom in. And then also, so now I offer like a hybrid service. So I do both online and in person. So I do the online shopping for clients. I do the wardrobe consultations. I also do colors and body shapes online as well. So thank you to Zoom. It really helped save my business, definitely. And it was nice because, you know, you think something's going to limit you, but it actually opened up the world a lot more, because not everybody can afford to fly me out to the States or to Dubai. But actually doing it via Zoom means it was cheaper for them and it was just as effective. So yeah, it's been really good. It's been really good because it's stretched me into opening up my services, but it's also opened me up more to the world. So yeah, COVID did have its perks, shall I say.
And is it fair to say as well that you've been able to do a lot more work now because you're not spending time traveling all over the place? So you can literally have, and I know you have some days where you do back-to-back digital consultations. Does that allow you to be more creative with your time?
It definitely allows a lot more flexibility in that sense as well, because I do a mixture of both, and it opens me up to more people in that sense. And it's also more cost effective for the clients. It's literally half the price doing it virtually than doing it in person. And it just means I don't have to travel. So yeah, it's got its many perks.
Amazing. Kuku, can you tell us about your experience? Because from what I remember that we've spoken about in the past, this opened up some unexpected markets and channels for you to market and sell Rain Studio. So can you tell us a bit more about your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. So prior to, I believe, January 2021, Rain Studio was actually called Rain Swim, and we literally just focused on swimwear. And we will, I mean, I would still say that we're a relatively new brand, but we were like brand new, like just born back then, maybe about a year in or in our first year. So yeah, when COVID hit, it was kind of like a, oh my goodness moment, like what is going on? People can't travel, and it's our, first big summer, because when we launch at the end of August because of manufacturing issues. I mean, there's so many things that go into starting a fashion brand that obviously I just wasn't privy to, because I'm a digital marketer by trade, and not a fashion designer. I don't know if I should keep saying that, but back then at least that was the case. So this was supposed to be our first big summer, and it was supposed to be busty girls everywhere wearing fashionable and functional swimwear. But COVID hit, and it meant travel restrictions. It meant people weren't able to go anywhere. And I mean, we live in the UK. We have 8 weeks of summer, really and truly. It's not like people have swimming pools, or the average person doesn't have a swimming pool in their backyard. So that was problematic. And I mean, I didn't give up on swim. I just had to be resilient, dig deep, just as Joy said, and get creative. Think, how can I stay relevant? How can the business stay relevant during this time? And for me, that was to bring out a loungewear collection, or wireless underwear. So I decided to design some bralettes, because I saw everybody wearing those everywhere, these cute little Calvin Klein bralettes. And I bought a couple myself, but they just didn't fit me. I wanted to make them work, but they really weren't working. I certainly wouldn't be dialing on to any calls with them on. So yeah, I just dug deep, found a manufacturer that was able to turn things around really fast, which when I look back now, I'm like, I honestly don't know how we were able to do that, because even when it came to importing and exporting, there was delays and holdups with that as well back then. But we were able to pull it out the bag, and that kind of kept the business buoyant for about nine months, but it's actually become a core part of the business. I thought that I'll just do this for a little bit, tidy us over, and then get back to swim. But now we have the two categories: the loungewear and bralettes, which I call our essentials collection. There are always on pieces. So they sell all year round, and they keep us relevant all year round. And then swimwear, which is a lot more seasonal in the UK, is focused in the spring summer period. So yeah, it was a beautiful blessing. And I think also from a digital marketing perspective, a lot of the big brands turned off their ad spend during COVID, because I just think people didn't really know what to do. Like, do people have money? People were being made redundant left, right, and center. So yeah, companies, brands alike, big agencies were turning off their ad spend. So it meant that small businesses were able to get a better return on their investment when it came to running ads online. And the best my ads have ever performed was definitely during that COVID lockdown period. I mean, I wish we could have that kind of results, return on investment back now. So yeah, that was great for getting visibility and getting the brand name out there, because as small business, that's what makes you successful. It's that visibility, people knowing who you are, being front of mind when buyers are thinking of the products you sell, the items that you sell. So yeah. Oh, I think you're still on mute.
I was on mute. Did that open up any new geographical regions for you beyond the UK that might have been kind of markets that you weren't anticipating moving into yet?
Yeah, totally. So we do have a customer base in the US, Australia, Canada, and dotted around Europe as well. And I mean, with it being more affordable to run ads during that season, or that period of time, yeah, it was great, because it just meant that I could advertise in the US, in like places like Florida, where it's like always hot, you know, and people were buying when UK people weren't buying swim because they weren't able to travel, you know. So that was a beautiful blessing, and it still continues to be so now. You know, I'm always trying to find ways that we can serve those markets, because obviously shipping from the UK, as we all know, is really expensive. But people still buy regardless, and I'm grateful for that.
Amazing, thank you. Joy, I would like to talk to you about your in-person events, because Joy runs the most amazing events. And I know that now we have emerged from this really challenging period. In-person events are back. Can you tell us about the exciting one that you've got coming up next?
Yes, thank you. I have a festive winter style event in collaboration with Harvey Nichols, taking place on the 10th of November at 6 p.m. It's a style event for women. It's a women-only event. So invite your girlfriends, your colleagues, your cousins, your sisters. It's an opportunity for women to get together and network. I'll also be sharing the trends for autumn-winter 22. I'll be sharing lots of inspirational looks for the festive season that will carry you through from Christmas to the new year, different looks. I'll also be sharing wardrobe essentials, because we're in times of austerity with the cost of living crisis. So I'll also be sharing pieces that you can wear and keep in your wardrobe for at least a decade. And then you're also going to get 10% off all shopping in Harvey Nichols. So it's a great opportunity to do all your Christmas shopping. But it's always really great. We sold out in our spring event in March. And so this is our winter event, and I look forward to seeing you all. It's going to be absolutely wonderful.
Thank you, Joy. And for those that might be listening and don't have access to London, and I'm also really curious to know, do you have kind of one winter styling tip for us? Like, is there one key piece that we should
I share it? Should I not share it? I'm going to say, make sure you come to my event, but I'll share a couple of tips. I won't give you too much. What I would say is that what I've noticed is nearly 15 years of styling, I would say embrace color. What people tend to do when it's autumn, winter, particularly in Europe, we tend to just go for the blacks and the grays, and that doesn't do anything for our mood. Wearing color actually psychologically lifts your mood, as well as it enhances your skin tone and gives you a beautiful glow. So I would say embrace wearing color in winter. The colors to look out for this season's colors are pink, also red. So I wore red because of you guys, and orange. So think about introducing those colors into your wardrobe in winter. And if you're somebody that's shy of color, and let's say you have a black coat, maybe buy a scarf in a nice bright color, because that will lift your face and give you a really nice glow. But if there's one piece of winter tip I'm going to share here with you, it'll be to get a leather skirt. A leather skirt is the rage this autumn, winter. So get a leather skirt.
I love it.
And I'll share all the rest
should
at
it
my
be any
masterclass.
particular length?
Your length depends on your height. Your length depends on your height. So if you're really tall, let's say you're over 5'8", you can go for the long midi skirts. If you're quite petite, under 5'4", you generally want to keep your skirts knee length or above. And if you're just in between that, between 5'5" and 5'7", you could do whatever you like.
Amazing.
But I'll keep the rest for my style event in November the 10th.
Fair enough. But I will just say for Joy, she really walks the talk when it comes to color, because as you can see, she's wearing a very vibrant red dress, which I need to know where it's from, by the way, so we have to have a chat about that. But separately, whenever we host any games, Joy walks in, she's always really brightly dressed, and it is such a mood lifter. I totally agree. And I know that you also did a styling session with one of our other members, and you guys did an online event together, and I couldn't believe how different Lisa looked just after having done the color analysis with you, and how she's added those to her wardrobe. It's completely elevated her look. So, I can't vouch for Joy enough. So thank you for sharing that with us, and hopefully if you are listening, you can take along on the 10th. Let's talk about being a business owner, because I think we've spoken a lot about kind of challenges and things, but what advice would each of you give to somebody who is considering starting out or taking the plunge? Kuku, can I start with you?
Yeah, I would say kind of along the same lines that we've been talking of this afternoon, that just embrace fear and do it anyway. Fear has a way of holding you back, and if you don't do it now, you're always going to wonder, what if, what if I had done this back then? I had many things in my life, in my short life, that I think, oh, what if I took that a little bit more serious? What if I held on to that for a little bit longer? Do you know what I mean? And it's just kind of like, just do it. You won't regret it.
Thank you. Joy?
Oh, I've got quite a bit. I think I would say, well, I'd ask a few questions. Why do you want to do what you're doing? I would say be strategic, have a plan, put everything down on paper, have a plan. You have to be strategic with it. Be open, because things change. So like with COVID, we've all had to adapt. Kuku adapted, I adapted to working online, and there were more opportunities in that way. So I would say have a plan, be strategic, and be open, because things do change. Make sure that you're aware of what's happening in the climate, and being adaptable as well. Purpose, plan, and being flexible.
Brilliant advice. And I'm interested to know, is there a particular lesson that each of you would identify that you've learnt along the way in building your own businesses? Kuku?
Yeah, I would say that resilience is key. I'm a very emotional person. And I feel like I'm very sensitive to too many things. And I've learned over time that it's not that it's not the way to be, but you have to find a way to just be resilient and embrace all of those thoughts and feelings, and use it to your benefit. So running this business has definitely made me a stronger person, because there's just so many things that you think you have control of that you just don't have control of, and you only realize that when things go wrong. And it can be hard when money's involved, when time is short, when you work alone. It can be hard because you don't have anyone to necessarily share the responsibility with, or the accountability with. So I've learned a major lesson, and I'm continuing to learn this lesson in the importance of resilience.
I love that you've spoken about being emotional, and because it's something I still struggle with, taking things really personally, whether they be failures or feedback or things. And it is something that you get thicker skinned, I think, as you progress along this journey. Because if I think about some of the things that used to really upset me in the beginning, don't upset me as much anymore. But I still, I'm still very much kind of emotionally connected to everything that happens on a day-to-day basis. And that's been one of the lessons that I've learned as well, about is kind of trying to build those layers of resilience so that those things affect you less, but you can continue to be effective and productive. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Joy, how about you?
I think I would say one thing somebody said when I was already in business was have one foot in reality and have one foot in your dreams. I think that is so important. I took both feet out of my reality into my dreams, and I was single free, so I could do that. I could sell my house, but not everybody has that privilege in that sense. So when I say have one foot in reality and one in your dreams, is that you have bills to pay. You can't always fully just let everything go and follow dreams. You've got to think about your bills. You've got to think about the finances. So try to be sensible and work on your dream at the same time as well. Rome wasn't built in a day. I remember when my first website was made, I cried. I was like, what is this? I'm not showing this to anyone in the world, And I think sometimes as well as women, just to buttress on what you two have said about emotion, I'm very emotional as well as a person. I was seeing a therapist during lockdown just to kind of help me with certain things. And one thing that I'd say that I've learned is some things aren't any of my business. So I've learned to just block some things off away. But also sensitivity is good in some sense. I always call it a discerning power, a discernment, So sometimes as women, it's our intuitive, it's us being intuitive. So don't knock yourself, but some things we do need to block out and say, do you know what, that's none of my business. And it saves you so much stress. But sometimes our sensitivity, our emotions are for good, because you can pick up on certain things. Like the other day we were with somebody and I just said I didn't have a good feeling, that I didn't feel like they were well. And everybody was like, oh, And next thing you know, I get a phone call from them and I had to go take them to hospital. So sometimes our sensitivity is needed. And then sometimes we need to learn to also block certain things away, because some things are none of our business. But things that are, we can use it for our good. So yeah.
Absolutely.
I think that ties in. Both of you have mentioned this kind of element of control and how we need to focus on the things that only we can control. And for me, that was one of the biggest lessons that came out of the challenges over the last few years, is that there was so much to worry about, but actually when you distill it down, and this is something that I will carry with me forever, I think, is kind of to just look at any situation that feels like a challenge and go, okay, how much of this is something that I can control? And make sure that you manage that part of it, and anything else that's completely beyond your control, because we spend a lot of time worrying about the things that are beyond our control. We have to let them go, or at least just kind of park them, and until they do in some way become something we can control. So that's brilliant advice from both of you, and I'm so pleased that you mentioned that, because I think a lot of people take comfort from being given permission, and not that we should need to be given permission by anyone for anything, to just focus on what you can control.
Yeah, and go to sleep. Sometimes you just need to sleep. Go to sleep. If you can't control it, just go to bed. Go to sleep.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's always better in the morning. It really is. Somebody said that and I just thought, but it actually is always better in the morning. Just go to sleep sometimes. Yeah.
Well, there's that age-old saying, isn't it? Sleep on it. Sleep on it. Decide tomorrow.
Fresh mind. Fresh vision.
Yeah. So I would like to ask if each, because I think even if you two don't realize it, you are very much female role models in your spaces and in your families and your communities, by making these kind of moves you have made to leave your respective careers and start, what have become really successful businesses. Who are your female role models? Is there someone that each of you look to for inspiration or advice? Kuku, can I start with you?
Oh, I never really know how to answer this question, because I feel like I'm just influenced by so many people. But at this point in my life, I would say anyone that's a mum and is out there doing the damn thing, like, that gives me power, because I feel like I can still say I'm a new mum. My son's 20 months old, so it's getting big, but oh my goodness, like, no day is the same. And trying to, run a business that you have such huge, big dreams and vision for, and look after a child that's ever changing, it's quite the challenge. Even this morning, like, he was at nursery and he's unwell, so I had to leave to pick him up. So my whole day has gone, a bit array. And it's like, we see women getting on with life after they have children, continuing to build amazing businesses, continuing to, climb the career ladder. And it's not the easiest thing to do. And I think I thought it was easier than what it was going to be. I'll put my hands up to say that. So for me, seeing women, really going after their dreams and building amazing businesses, amazing careers, and having that their own identity and sense of self is a true inspiration for me. It gives me power, because it reminds me that I will get there too, and I'm doing it just as they're doing it, digging deep and making things happen. I'm doing it too. So at this point in my life, that's who I'd say inspires me.
Lovely, lovely answer. Thank you. Joy, do you have a female role model that you can identify?
Yeah,
or maybe several?
I think similar to Kuku, I can't really say it's one person per se, I think I'm somebody that learns from all different people, and females and males. I think I can be inspired by just seeing women that are getting on with what they're doing, women that are confident, women that are unapologetically themselves, people that are kind, people that don't compare or backbite, people that are just doing it and getting on with life and living their life, enjoying their lives, living a life of purpose. And it's not always businesswomen. Some may be, some may not be, but I get inspiration from everywhere. And I'm also a woman of faith. I'm a Christian. So God always kind of just encourages me, lifts me, gives me divine ideas. But I'm inspired by lots of things, even by just simply going on a plane to travel, you know, and exploring the world. You can learn from so much. So yeah, I'm always learning and inspired. And I just say that getting on with life, enjoying your life, living your life confidently inspires me. So yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. And both of what you've said, both of you, really resonates with me. In fact, part of the conversation that I was having earlier with one of our other members was, she was saying, Kuku, about what you said about, you know, she's got 2 young toddlers, and she said they're the biggest barrier to her business, because on a day that they're both sick and they seem to be sick all the time, it throws her day completely. But it's really important for her to have her own identity and to continue to invest in her business. So as much as there are some days that it's really challenging, and that's the great thing. I mean, if you saw her, you would never know that stuff goes on behind the scenes, you know, which I think so many of us don't realize. When we see people kind of slaying it on social media, or they look like they're living this really kind of shiny, polished life, we need to just remind ourselves that everybody's got their own stuff going on, and they're all hustling on a day-to-day basis, rolling with the punches. So yeah, that really resonates. And the same with you, Joy. I think I'm a creative person like you, and to be able to draw inspiration from those around me, or from taking a walk in nature, you know, all of those things. Maybe that's the emotional part of us, is that we are able to benefit from that, the of inspiration. So thank you for sharing that. I would love to give each of you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about what might be coming next for your respective businesses. Kuku, what will we see from Rain Studio in the future? Or maybe if it's not in place yet, what the vision is.
Yeah, so lots of new things to come. We're working on a new swim collection for next year, which is really exciting. Just kind of refining what we already have, styles that we already have, because definitely focused on creating, you know, timeless pieces that aren't just like trendy and disposable, but from that kind of fashionable and trend point of view, it's all about colors, prints, textures, fabrics that we use. So yeah, improving our current pieces and bringing out a few new styles, and then also expanding our essentials collections. We've got new bralette styles coming out really soon. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled.
Amazing. Thank you. And I will, in the comments at the end of this session, I'll post links to your website so that people can get hold of you. But otherwise, also, if you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to facilitate an introduction, or to Kuku or Joy directly. Joy, tell us what's happening next for Potential You.
So what's happening next is my festive style masterclass on the 10th of November. Which is taking place in Harvey Nichols, London, in Knightsbridge. So that's really my main focus between now and then. And then after that, I'm going to focus on more mentoring and training other stylists. I've been in this industry now for nearly 15 years. So I get lots of people that want to be mentored. I'm a trained mentor as well. I want to kind of give back and to support aspiring stylists. So I've now created a course around that. So my festive style event on the 10th of November, and then mentoring aspiring stylists and continuing to deliver my styling solutions. So yeah, that's what we've got next.
That's amazing. And Joy, who should approach you for your styling, your mentoring course? Like, what sort of person would that suit? Is it somebody who's looking to develop their own styling business, or someone who has an interest in
anyone
styling?
That wants to kind of go into styling or image consultancy. You're looking for a mentor, you're looking for a course which is practical and theoretical. When I first started, there wasn't anyone to mentor me, so I did the course at the London College of Fashion, where there was no one else to guide. So I'll give you a course guide, you'll do the course, but you'll also shadow as well, so that you get the practical experience as well. So it's for aspiring personal stylists.
That's amazing. Thank you. Well, we have come to the end of our session. Thank you so much, both of you, for giving so much of yourselves and your time today. I know that you're both very busy ladies. So thank you very much for being with us today and sharing. For those that might have come in halfway through, you'll be able to watch the full event from the beginning once this is ended, but it'll also be up on our website in a few days' time, the Women's Chapter website. And I do highly encourage you, get in touch with Kuku or with Joy. If you are filibustered or you know somebody who is, please send them Kuku's way. Her products are phenomenal. As I said, I've got many friends who offer it and they love her products. And I think it's, you know, it's worth using our money to support fellow women-led businesses. It's something that I feel very passionately about. So if you're doing any gift shopping or shopping for yourself going forward toward the Christmas season, think about how you can use the power of your purse to support a fellow women-led business. And Joy is honestly the style queen. I highly recommend you get in touch with her. She's done styling for several of our members. Her content is amazing, so do give her a follow. She does really engaging videos which are very educational. And if you're around in London, make sure you go along on the 10th, but you do need to book in advance. So Joy, would you mind in the comments afterwards posting a link so people can sign up for that if they want to? But
Sure.
Thank you again, both of you. I know we had a little time lag, but I'm so grateful to both of you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for having me on. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michelle.
Take care.